Walkman, stylized as Walkman, is a brand of portable audio players manufactured and marketed by Japanese company Sony since 1979. The original Walkman started out as a portable cassette player, and the brand was later extended to serve most of Sony's portable audio devices. Since 2011 it consists exclusively of digital flash memory players. The current flagship product as of 2022 is the WM1ZM2 player. Walkman cassette players were very popular during the 1980s, which led to Walkman becoming an unofficial term for personal stereos of any producer or brand. 220 million cassette-type Walkman were sold by the end of production in 2010, including digital Walkman devices such as DAT, Minidisc, CD, originally Discman then renamed the CD Walkman, and memory-type media players. It has sold approximately 400 million at this time. The Walkman brand has also been applied to transistor radios and Sony Ericsson mobile phones. Development. Original 1979 Sony Walkman TPS L2. The compact cassette was developed in 1963 by the Dutch electronics firm Philips. In the late 1960s, the introduction of pre-recorded compact cassettes made it possible to listen to music on portable devices as well as on car stereos, though gramophone records remained the most popular format for home listening. Portable tape players of various designs were available, but none of them were intended to be operated by a person as they were walking. In the 1970s, Brazilian inventor Andreas Pavel devised a method for carrying a player of this type on a belt around the waist, listening via headphones, but his stereo belt concept did not include the required engineering advancements to yield high-quality sound reproduction, while the tape player was subject to mechanical shock as would be expected on a person walking. Pavel later lost his suit claiming the Walkman idea as his own. Sony co-founder Masaru Ibuka used Sony's bulky TC-D5 cassette recorder to listen to music while traveling for business. He asked Executive Deputy President Norio Oga to design a playback-only stereo version optimized for walking. The metal-cased blue and silver Walkman TPS L2, the world's first low-cost personal stereo, went on sale in Japan on July 1, 1979, and was sold for around 33,000 yen, or $150. Though Sony predicted it would sell about 5,000 units a month, it sold more than 30,000 in the first 2 months. The classic Walkman logo from 1981 to 2000. The Walkman was followed by a series of international releases. As overseas sales companies objected to the Wazi-Igo name, it was sold under several names, including Soundabout in the United States, Freestyle in Australia and Sweden, and Stowaway in the UK. Eventually, in the early 1980s, Walkman caught on globally and Sony used the name worldwide. The TPS L2 was introduced in the US in June 1980. 3 Walkman players, variously dating between 1984 and 1991. The 1980s was the decade of the intensive development of the Walkman lineup. In 1981 Sony released the second Walkman model, the WM2, which was significantly smaller compared to the TPS L2 thanks to inverse mounting of the power-operated magnetic head and soft-touch buttons. Sony applied the Walkman brand to some transistor radios starting with the matching blue SRF 40 FM Walkman in 1980 and added a radio to some Walkman cassette models starting with the model WM-F1 in 1982. The first model with Dolby noise reduction system appeared in 1982. The first ultra-compact, cassette-size, Walkman was introduced in 1983, model WM-20, with a telescopic case. This allowed even easier carrying of a Walkman in bags or pockets. The first model with auto-reverse was released in 1984. In October 1985, the WM-101 model was the first in its class with a gum stick rechargeable battery. In 1986 Sony presented the first model outfitted with remote control, as well as one with solar battery, WM-F107. Within a decade of launch, Sony held a 50% market share in the United States and 46% in Japan. 2 limited edition 10th anniversary models were released in 1989, WM-701S/T, in Japan, made of brass and plated in sterling silver. only a few hundred were built of each. A 15th anniversary model was also made on July 1, 1994, with vertical loading, and a 20th anniversary on July 1, 1999, with a prestige model. By 1989, 10 years after the launch of the first model, over 100 million Walkmans had been sold worldwide. 150 million units were manufactured by 1995. By 1999, 20 years after the introduction of the first model, Sony sold 186 million cassette Walkmans. Portable compact disc players led to the decline of the cassette Walkman, which was discontinued in Japan in 2010. The last cassette-based model available in the US was the WM-FX290W, which was first released in 2004. Marketing. Sony marketing. The marketing of the Walkman helped introduce the idea of Japanese-ness into global culture, synonymous with miniaturization and high technology. The Walkmen and Walkwomen in advertisements were created to be the ideal reflections of the viewing audience. Sony implemented a marketing strategy, hiring young adults to walk around in public wearing a Walkman, offering nearby people to test out the product. Sony also hired actors to pose with the Walkman around the streets of Tokyo as an additional form of promotion. A major component of the Walkman advertising campaign was overspecialization of the device. Prior to the Walkman, the common device for portable music was the portable radio, which could only offer listeners standard music broadcasts. Having the ability to customize a playlist was a new and exciting revolution in music consumption. Potential buyers had the opportunity to choose their perfect match in terms of mobile listening technology. The ability to play one's personal choice of music and listen privately was a huge selling point of the Walkman, especially amongst teens, who greatly contributed to its success. A diversity of features and styles suggested that there would be a product which was the perfect choice for each consumer. This method of marketing to an extremely expansive user base while maintaining the idea that the product was made for each individual, got the best of all possible worlds, mass marketing and personal differentiation. Impact and legacy. Walkman effect. Culturally, the Walkman had a great effect and it became ubiquitous. According to Time, the Walkman's unprecedented combination of portability, it ran on 2 AA batteries, and privacy, it featured a headphone jack but no external speaker, made it the ideal product for thousands of consumers looking for a compact portable stereo that they could take with them anywhere. According to The Verge, the world changed on the day the Walkman was released. The Walkman became an icon in 1980s culture. In 1986, the word Walkman entered the Oxford English Dictionary. Millions used the Walkman during exercise, marking the beginning of the aerobics fad. Between 1987 and 1997, the height of the Walkman's popularity, the number of people who said they walked for exercise increased by 30%. Other firms, including Aiwa, Panasonic and Toshiba, produced similar products, and in 1983 cassettes outsold vinyl for the first time. The Walkman has been cited to not only change people's relationship to music but also technology, due to its solitary and personal nature, as users were listening to their own music of choice rather than through a radio. It has been seen as a precursor of personal mainstream tech possessions such as personal computers or mobile phones. Headphones also started to be worn in public. This caused safety controversies in the US, which in 1982 led to the mayor of Woodbridge, New Jersey banning Walkman to be worn in public due to pedestrian accidents. In the market, the Walkman's success also led to great adoption of the compact cassette format. Within a few years, cassettes were outselling vinyl records, and would continue to do so until the compact disc, CD, overtook cassette sales in 1991. In German-speaking countries, the use of Walkman became generic, meaning a personal stereo of any make, to a degree that the Austrian Supreme Court of Justice ruled in 2002 that Sony could not prevent others from using the term Walkman to describe similar goods. It is therefore an example of what marketing experts call the genericide of a brand. A large statue of a sports Walkman FM was erected in Tokyo's Ginza district in 2019 in celebration of the 40th anniversary. Like and subscribe for more videos and share your friends. Thanks for watching.